Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is Kodeations. Ladies and gentlemen, the Cookie Alliance Season 2 is officially coming to an end in only a short amount of hours. We're going to be jumping in there today, doing a run with you guys, and also showing you guys all 5 of my team compositions that I'm going to utilize and the entire strategy to achieve Masters. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Already diving right in, ladies and gentlemen, to the very first team that we've got that we're going to utilize is going to be our main core team, is what I like to call it. Essentially, it's just going to consist of Hollyberry running a full solid almond set. We've got Eclair running a full searing raspberry set. We've got Seaferry here again running a full searing raspberry set. Pretty much for your damage dealers on this team. For Eclair, you know, Seaferry, you're going to want to just maximize their overall damage output. That's going to be the first thing to focus on. Then, obviously, any damage resistance that you can add is going to aid in that as well for both of those. Third, we've got, that's going to be Cotton Cookie. Again, just going to add to overall some, some damage, skill utility, get the minions out there to soak up and, mitigate some damage, add to the overall healing, nothing too crazy. Third and final, we've got, that's going to be Pure Vanilla Cookie here, running a full Swift Chocolate set as well. We want to make sure that you can utilize Pure Vanilla's healing and the shield as much as possible. And then as far as the overall treasures go here, we've got to be running the Monocle for that overall cleanse and additional aid. We've also got that attack buff provided from the Old Pilgrim Scroll. And then third and final one we've got here, and that's going to be the overall Jelly Watch. Now, I'm going to show you guys some gameplay in a quick second, but nevertheless, this is going to be your main core team, as I mentioned before. We're going to utilize this team all the way up pretty much to Wave 24. So as long as you can get the best toppings that you can on this team composition, this one is probably going to be the most important team comp. Now, for the next 2 compositions we've got, that's going to be, our number 2 and our number 5. But essentially, both of these team comps are designed for boss stages or single target stages where you just really need to be focusing on one target, putting out a ton of damage. So for the first composition we've got, that's going to be none other than Dark Choco. Now, I am going to be running a full set of searing raspberries. You could argue that you could run a full solid almond set. Either way, depending on which, toppings you have that are best. For me personally, I just went ahead and kept the same set that I had, that I utilized Dark Choco for the overall guild boss. So we're going to keep him here on a searing raspberry set. Shouldn't make that big of a difference. Next up, we've got, that's going to be Strawberry Crate. Strawberry Crepe's going to be running a full Swift Chocolate set. We want to make sure that we can utilize their shield as much as possible to mitigate some damage. Next one we got, that's going to be, Black Raisin Cookie. Black Raisin's going to be running a full Searing Raspberry set. Again, very similar to Eclair and Seaberry, just trying to maximize the overall damage. Next up, we've got, that's going to be Poison Mushroom. Again, running a full Searing Raspberry set, maximizing that overall damage output. And then last but not least, we've got, that's going to be Vampire Cookie. Again, utilizing as much damage as we possibly can receive via those Searing Raspberries. And then as far as the overall treasures go for this team, because it is a single targets team, we're going to be running the Old Pilgrim Scroll for attack. We're going to be running the Monocle once again for a little bit of support and aid. And then third and final we've got, that's going to be that Slingshot, because we, again, want to add that overall defense break to the boss so we can do additional damage. And then as far as our second boss team, we've got Dark Cacao, the brand new ancient cookie that just dropped in the game. We're going to be running a full solid almond set, trying to focus on as much damage resistance as you possibly can, because that's going to be pretty much your frontline tank. Next up, we've got, that's going to be Alpha Gata Cookie, again, the brand new epic bomber in the game, whose featured banners currently going on right now. We're going to be running a full Searing Raspberry set, just trying to maximize the attack overall. Really just make sure that, Alpha Gata's putting out a ton of damage on a boss, because again, this is a boss team. Third and final we've got, that's going to be Pumpkin Pie. Pumpkin Pie, again, is going to be running, solid almonds. We want to make sure that Pompon is just buffed up to the max. So that's going to be pretty much why we're running, these here to just maximize damage resistance. And the next one we've got here, that's going to be none other than Pomegranate Cookie. And this might be a shock to a lot of players, but nevertheless, with something like this team composition and specifically designed for bosses, we could absolutely use that overall attack buff that she's going to be providing. And obviously, it provides some sort of a, small, tiny bit of healing, but nevertheless, it might be a shock, but it's absolutely a good option to utilize in a situation like this for a second boss team. And then last but not least, we got here for this team, and that's going to be Rye Cookie. Now, she's going to be running a full Searing Raspberry set, again, just trying to maximize the overall damage output that you possibly can do, because again, this is going to be focusing on a single target. And then now the last 2 teams we're going to be going over really quick, and that's going to be specialty teams. The very first one's going to be a Mala Sauce and Twizzly composition, specifically designed for those stages with enemies with overall shields. And then the second team we're going to be showing you guys is going to be my Speed Comp team. So essentially just designed to put out a ton of damage very, 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 very fast. Neither of these teams are going to be fully maxed out, but nevertheless, they're still very viable and very, very needed for some of the individual waves. That very first one is going to be that Twizzly Mollisauce comp that you see here on screen. Now, essentially nothing too crazy here. Mollisauce is going to be running solid almonds. They're in the front line. They're going to be taking a ton of hits, so as much damage resistance as you can get is going to help. Next up, we've got, that's going to be Sorbet Shark. Again, very similar to Vampire Black Raisin and Rye Cookie, running Searing Raspberries, focusing in as much attack as you possibly can get. And then next up, we've got here, that's going to be none other than Twizzly Gummy Guys. Once again, we're just going to be building a full crit percent build. You could probably argue to only run 3 crit percents and, 2 Searing Raspberries, whatever you want to do. However, we're specifically only utilizing Twizzly here to strip the shields. That's it. So once they utilize their skill pretty much once, we're not really looking to utilize them again, unless if it's just going to be to fodder or to do as much damage as they can before they inevitably die. Next up, we've got here, and that's going to be Sparkling. Now, Sparkling is going to be providing a crit buff as well. So we're going to go ahead and utilize 3 Swift Chocolates and 2 solid almonds. You could absolutely run a full Swift Chocolate set here or a full solid almond set, depending on which way you want to go. But nevertheless, we just want to make sure that we can take advantage of the overall cooldown so we can keep that crit buff up constantly for a team like Mollisauce, Cream Puff, and then also Twizzly, where they all rely on some sort of crit. And then last but not least, that is going to bring us in here to a Cream Puff Cookie. We're going to be running 3 Searing Raspberries and 2 of those Apple Jellies. Again, just try to get as much attack and as much crit percent as we possibly can so we can utilize it, get the additional healing, and get the additional damage. And then that last but not least one we've got here, and that's going to bring us to the speed comp. Guys, the speed comp that I'm going to be using today is going to be the Kumiho, running a full solid almond set. Again, just focusing in on damage resistance and survivability. Next one we've got, that's going to be Madeline Cookie. And then also I'm going to go ahead and mention Lilac Cookie. Now both Maddie and then also going to be Lilac, these two for the speed meta comp to work efficiently, they need to have the highest attack speed. Specifically, Maddie needs to have the highest attack speed. Lilac needs to come in second with the overall attack speed. And then the rest of them, you can have either no attack speed or some attack speed. Doesn't matter. But nevertheless, Maddie should have the most, and then Lilac should have the second most attack speed. Again, both of them are running a full Searing Raspberry set, just trying to focus on some additional attack speed. Lilac's going to be coming at 4.9%. Maddie, I've got here at 6.9%. Again, just trying to make sure that Maddie stays there at number 1 for attack speed. Last but not least, we've got, and that's going to be Mint Choco running a full cooldown, and then also we've got Almond running a full solid almond set to just make sure that he can stay alive as long as possible so we could utilize the damage. Alrighty, so then officially diving in here to the actual run for the Cookie Alliance for us to achieve at least Masters. We're going to go ahead and run this out all the way up to Wave 24 because my first team, and ideally you want this very first team to get you all the way to 24 with no problem. So because we're not going to do any changes, I'm going to go ahead and speed up this little individual gameplay here just so it doesn't take forever. Once we do get to the point where we're going to be battling the reddish-greenish dragon, I will then slow it back down and then go over the mechanics and what exactly needs to be done at that specific moment. Alrighty, so then we're almost officially done here with Wave 23, alright? So now we're going to be loading into Wave 24. We've got the speed dropped to 1 time so you guys can actually watch every single move. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to use our first team composition here to do as much damage as we can, and we're looking for a specific point when he's going to pop up these thorns or these little like missiles in the air. Then we're going to be utilizing and swapping to our boss team for Dark Choco, alright? So basically what we're doing is we're avoiding those missiles right there. As they're about to hit your team, you need to swap over to your guild boss team, which is in our case our team 2. Once we go ahead and swap over, we're going to not take the damage from those missiles that would pretty much wipe out our first team. Instead, we're going to be missing them by doing the team swap out. Then we're going to go ahead and finish and polish off the overall dragon. Very easy peasy here. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward the gameplay again to the next spot that we need to talk about. But for now, we're going to go ahead and swap back to our main team and continue grinding. Alrighty, so now we're almost done here with Wave 25. This one, again, is just going to be utilizing our main team. The team we need to swap to now here for Wave 26 exclusively is going to be our speed meta comp. We need to have a ton of damage to outrun the healing and the, basically the damage mitigation that this little mini boss can provide with them, and also the minions that they continue to summon. So you need to be able to put a ton of damage down really, really fast. That's where the speed meta comp comes into play. You can just see all the individual damage. Even though my speed meta team is not going to be, the max leveled for all of the cookies, it doesn't matter. We have no problem, pretty much just taking out this entire boss and all of the minions, at least, enough. Once we get them down to where we know we can end up, killing the boss, we'll swap back to our main team again to just allow it to, finish polishing this boss off and continue moving forward. Alrighty, so now we're almost finished here with wave 27. We're going to be going into wave 28. We're going to be going up against the Waffle Goliath boss. And this is going to be where it's going to be crucial once again to kind of do that swap maneuver here. But nevertheless, you get the idea here. He's going to do his drill. Then he's going to go into a slam ability. Right when he pops off his slam, as you're about to see here in a second, that's when you want to swap. Right there, you can see that I did not. I was a little bit too late. My main team took all of that damage. Instead, you want to be able to swap over to your boss team right as that is about to happen. And in our case, we swapped over to our second boss team because, you know, they didn't have any damage on them as of yet. Now, I want to show you guys, I actually made a mistake and I took too much damage on my main team, which does actually botch this run. But nevertheless, that's pretty much how you can, you know, go up against the Waffle Goliath. You just need to make sure you're utilizing that team swapping maneuver to avoid that stomp, that which pretty much just destroys your entire team. Alrighty, guys, so as you can see here, we're officially on Chapter 8, Wave 31. We've already got the score over 1 million that we're looking to achieve Masters. However, guys, just know that this is a botched run. So, unfortunately, I probably could have went higher than this. Unfortunately, I did not do that. And right here on this boss, we really needed Twizzly Gummy here to overall strip that shield for us to then swap over to another boss comp so that we can just absolutely obliterate it and continue progressing on past Wave 32. However, though, that's not the case. We had a couple of, you know, failed attempts with that overall Waffle Goliath. Our main team took too much damage. We kind of just had to use what we can to finish off the overall run, but nevertheless, our goal was to hit Masters, and that, my friends, we were able to achieve. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much going to be concluding my 5 compositions that I'm utilizing in the Cookie Alliance that you guys should absolutely be able to build and then basically reach all the way up to Masters 4 as long as you were utilizing the overall strategy correctly, swapping out your teams when exactly you need to be, and doing all that stuff. So again, if you guys have any additional questions about these, I always invite you to join the Discord. The link's provided down below in the description. You can DM me over there or reach out to me via my Discord on, you know, the Cookie Run Kingdom channels. I'd be more than willing to help anybody and everybody. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe here on the channel for everything Cookie Run Kingdom. We cover it all for guides, tips, tutorials, you know, how-tos, the, you know, coupons, updates, you name it. We always cover it here on the channel. And with that being said, as always, I'll see you guys on the next one.